Hi, everybody, and welcome to Toolkit Tuesday. We have been knee-deep in planning digital virtual events in the last 3 weeks, and so we've been off the radar for our Toolkit Tuesday, but with a lot of learnings to share with you here today around the events that we've produced and what we've learned. So today I'm going to try to give you guys some great nuggets. We're looking at over 20 ideas in 20 minutes to help you really understand what it is that we have learned and extracted from the production of over 6 events in different sizes and different audiences. And then what we are looking forward to doing is offering next Tuesday a live Q&A to talk about the things that we have learned. So I'm going to outline some key learnings, and then if you'd like to join us next week for Toolkit Tuesday, we'll be sending a follow-up email, and you can register for that, and I'll take all your questions. The doctor is in from digital events. First and foremost, I want to say that, you know, technology is an interesting beast. We have had great wins, and we've definitely had some challenges. And so I'm hoping today that I can be vulnerable and share with you in a way that really lets you understand that things are going to happen in technology and how can you deal with those or overcome some of those things. So I think I'm going to jump in right away and say that be prepared, because technology can break, and we've learned that the hard way, and we've learned some great ways to overcome some of the challenges. In doing 10 different events in the last couple months on 5 different platforms, regardless of the platform, you can experience technical issues. And when you do, it's really critical to have a contingency plan and a communications plan that allows you to let the attendees know that you are experiencing technical difficulties and what will be happening next. And I've told my team, think about it if you were an air traveler sitting on a tarmac and the plane didn't take off as expected. Think about the fact that you would want to be informed often and be pretty, have comprehensive information about what the tech issue is. So be specific, be comprehensive, and communicate frequently. Those are my tips about if you have a tech issue. The other thing would be to put some backup content in the can, to really have a couple sessions that you've pre-recorded that are go-to, that you could play in case of a issue with a live session that doesn't fire off the way it was supposed to. So to have some backup content, even if it's a live session, maybe do a Zoom recording so that you have that there as a backup solution. I think that the other thing we're experiencing, and I've explained this before, is that attendees that come to live events, they simply have to find the Hyatt, and they know how to park their cars and get to the Hyatt and go up the escalator and grab a badge and go to the ballroom. That is not the case with digital events. You're relying on each individual attendee, their devices, their technical knowledge, their ability to troubleshoot, them remembering where the email came in with the link to access the event, what password they created to get in. And so one of the things we did an event for 10,000 people, we staffed up, we had about 8 registration assistants, digital registration assistants that were there to assist all of the attendees trying to get into the show. Another strategy that we used is we had what we called a pre-day, and we promoted access to the event site a day before the main content started. So they were able to be sent a link, set up their account, go into the platform and look around for navigation, set up their profiles ahead of time so that when they were meeting people the next 2-3 days, they would have all of their profiles established. And we also had some on-demand content that they could go in and enjoy the day before. We also kicked it off with like a watch party with a movie, so that essentially you're giving yourself a pre-con day. Think of it as opening your registration a day early for people to come get their badges and check out the expo hall and where all the sessions will be held. That's really what it is. You're giving yourself a full day or a half day of being able to troubleshoot access. And then the next morning when things started at 8 a.m., we didn't have 10,000 people trying to get onto the platform at the same time for the very first time. And then I do think you want to think about your communication plan around different scenarios. You know, automated emails that your team can send. If you're having a browser issue, these are the 3 steps you need to take to get in. If you are not able to schedule a meeting on the platform the way that you were, instructed, here's a troubleshooting, an FAQ, a troubleshooting, auto emails, blast emails in case, again, if things don't go off as scheduled, you would have something in the can that would say, we apologize for the, technical issues. We will restart the broadcast in 1 hour, something like that. Again, think about the tarmac and the airplane example of what communication you'd want to hear. I think it's important to be asking, I'm going to move from kind of communications to the tech platform, to ask your provider, your event platform provider, about their speed and bandwidth. Ask them if they're going to be doing other events the same days as yours. Ask them if you're at risk of having low speed or connectivity issues or lag in performance around the chat conversation or anything like that. Understanding your tech provider's capabilities and how they'll be tested. One thing that I heard that was really interesting is that most of these platforms have not been fully tested, in the sense that, many technologies that have been around for a long time, they understand consumer behavior on their platforms. Because this is new, one platform provider told me, hey, 6 months from now, we're going to have this dialed. Right now, we are experiencing hiccups around speed and bandwidth and servers and our technology ourselves. And we did have an experience where another provider had multiple shows, large shows, the same days as ours, and it impacted our event because they had so much business at the same time. Browsers, understanding which browser is best for your show and your platform. And, we did a state event and people did not have the right browser on their state issued devices. So it was, we were in Chrome, and a lot of these people were using Internet Explorer, but they were using like 3 versions ago. Microsoft Edge browser would have worked, but their browsers were so old that it impacted their ability to get in and see the show seamlessly. So understanding and communicating that ahead of time, that people have the right software on their devices, the right browsers to watch the show and its full capabilities without issue. Uploading all of your assets ahead of times. We had a show where speakers were giving us a video at the last minute, similar to live events. They walk up and, oh, I added a video to my presentation. Trying to get that uploaded into the back end of the platform as much as possible is really key. The other thing would be video capture. To really understand that all of your sessions are going to be captured through who's on point to make sure that happens. We had an event that happened one day, 35 sessions, and the platform failed as far as video capture. So we lost the content. We had to re-record 35 individual 1-hour sessions to be able to put all those videos up on the event site for the ticket holders post-event. So make sure you have a solid plan around video capture and backup video capture if something fails there. It's important that you have technical support. I kind of equate it to, again, a live event where I'm standing on the loading dock on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. on our move-in day, and I have 3 semis there with staff, and I can't find somebody in the hotel to unlock and open the loading dock door. I'm dead in the water. I don't know how to fix this, short of breaking a lock. I'm running up overtime with my semi sitting there. It's that same kind of thing. If you don't have the ability to fix the technology yourself, you need to have that banquet captain's cell number to be able to say, we're in, the show has started, but we're having issues. So make sure you have great responsive support and that you have an escalation plan if you're needing tech support. There's nothing more helpless feeling than having your show going and then not know how to fix it and not having anybody who can respond immediately to troubleshoot it, to let you know what's happening so that you can provide that communication we just talked about of it is a known issue, they're resolving it. It's likely it will be 1 hour before we're back live for today's show. Please tune back in. You know, you need that tech person to translate what it is that's happening. Is this a known issue? Again, broken engine on a plane. We're not leaving here. Let's unboard and reschedule this thing. You know, you need that tech partner hand in hand with you in a very time sensitive, stand the show up, you know, day of move in. You need that support. Also, I think it's important to talk about data capture and making sure you have the data outlined with the event platform. What data do you need? And also the turnaround time. How fast will it be before our videos are back up on the website? How long will it take me to get the data of who visited which virtual booth? And outlining the priorities of that and being in sync with your technology provider about the data and the delivery and the turnaround times. Okay, I'm jumping into content and agenda. I talked about the pre-day. I think it's super important to have that, troubleshoot those access things a day ahead of time. Also, I think it's important to understand you've got the ability to do some on-demand video library content that people can enjoy pre-event, during the event, and post-event. So putting some great sessions maybe on your agenda because you've shortened it because it's a virtual event. Don't shorten content. You've got plenty of people that can pre-record a great message and provide that at the same time you're doing your live show. Make that on-demand library available. I also think it's important to think about dynamic content as you're thinking about device fatigue and people not wanting it to be a standard Zoom meeting. How can you take every session and think, how can we make this dynamic? Should it be recorded? Should it be semi-recorded with live Q&A with the speakers? Should it be live panel questions? You know, should it be small breakout groups? You know, do you still want to provide the opportunity for people to connect and discuss and come back together? So identifying the format for each session and mixing that up, having an MC that starts things, that's live to create that energy, having intermissions where you've got some kind of activity going on. Keeping it dynamic is really important. For the attendee experience, moving into that, hope you're taking great notes. And again, next week on Toolkit Tuesday, lots of wide open questions about this information. Your reg integration plan, I think it's super important. Always reg people have understood that day of walk-in clients, you have to have a system separate for them than you do the people who pre-registered. So you have to have a plan for what reg platform you're using and how it integrates with your event platform and how people will get their credentials to get in. Do they need to be double authenticated, sent a code proving it that it is them before they can get onto the platform? And making a communication plan with your attendees of this is how you'll register and get onto the platform. 1, 2, 3, screenshots. Here's what you'll see when you log in. Set in your email, that make sure you're using the same email as you registered with. And then a registration plan around day of. You know, this digital event stuff, people are making it a decision to attend that morning. So you've got to have a really solid, quick response team that can handle walk-ins or day of virtual registrants. Again, using pictures and snapshots and screenshots to show people what it is they'll be seeing and experiencing, super helpful. Attendee support, I talked about having 8 different people ready to field email inquiries about, I can't find my password, I can't get onto the platform, I don't have the right browser, you know, help. Just really, really labor intensive around all individual attendees likely needing some sort of tech support. I think it's important to script your chat boxes. We have had somebody assigned in every event to post in the chat on a regular basis. Welcome to the event, where you're tuning in. You want to get that chat box, that's the engagement piece, and you want to drive that with somebody from your team that is scripting out what needs to be posted when. By the way, reminder, we'll be back in 15 minutes. You know, please join our exhibitors, and then we'll be broadcasting live again in 15 minutes from now. If you've got questions, go over here and shop our merchandise store. So just really having someone, what's interesting is when people start having tech issues, the chat box seems to be crowdsourcing tech solutions. So as soon as you have somebody say, I can't see, my screen is black, everybody in the chat's like offering their tech, they become a tech solution person, and they're like, make sure you unclick this. I tried this, I rebooted and it worked. So you're going to have active chat with attendees in there, and you want to have your finger on that pulse. And I also think that, around digital events, there is, again, on-demand capabilities, but there's an energy that happens around live broadcasting in that chat box. So make sure you leverage and you plan for, when do we expect the highest viewership, and how do we engage people throughout all of this? Moving to speakers, talking about that. Testing. We drop shipped some gear to all of our speakers, headphone, head earpiece, lighting, and really getting your speakers through a tech check and comfortable with the technology for them to be able to join live. And I have found, we did a tech check with a speaker, and we were 2 days prior, and we were solid. She was all set to go. Day of the show, she had installed an external microphone, and it threw things off, and we were an hour into troubleshooting and could not get her live. So test with those speakers. The recording instructions, again, making sure we have provided a tech person in every session just to troubleshoot if the speaker is not loud enough, to come in as kind of a voice of God moderator and be like, Janet, do you mind leaning closer to your device? And then letting them go. So we kind of have, this AV tech table, but it's in every digital session to help make sure that things are on track. You may be fielding questions in the chat around an attendee's ability to hear Janet, or you may need to be advising the speaker that, she needs to change or do something to make sure it's a clean show. I also think speakers get, and you all know this, they get anxious before their presentation anyways. They're focused on their content. Like, I'm going to have to, deliver my presentation. They get extra stressed when they don't have tech support, because when things start going wrong for them, they're already anxious about their content, and now they're in a tech solution loop that's really challenging for them. So we have been getting into our sessions at least 20 minutes early to hang out in a virtual green room and test audio and video and make sure they're ready for lights, camera, action. I would highly recommend that you do that, because even if we've sent a training video, even if we've done a tech check the day of, they just need somebody to hold their hand and make sure that they're up and running live. And you can do that in a virtual green room. And then sponsors around, if they have a virtual booth, I think making sure they understand, again, record a training video for them of how to set up their virtual booth, provide a checklist or a FAQ about how they set up their booth. Make sure that you're monitoring that. We had an event with 20 vendors, and I think 13 had not populated their virtual booths, and it was 2 days out. And my team literally had to go and drop in their logos and make sure that all their booths had something, because their team members just had limited bandwidth or had not done what we'd asked to make sure they had a good showing in the virtual space. So, following up with them, training them, making sure they understand how to activate a virtual conference inside their event booth. Really hand-holding on sponsor management and speaker management. I think the other piece of that, again, is for the sponsors to get their data of who came to their booth in a timely manner, to understand how to record if they're doing some content piece in their booth. How do they record that? Across the board, everybody is being forced to become more technically savvy around these events. Your attendees have to get tech savvy, your speakers, your sponsors, and everyone's getting more and more familiar with the more we have to do this, and we're in Zoom calls, and they understand the controls of mute and video, and they're getting better at it. But everybody's being forced to have some sort of technical knowledge to participate and to maximize the experience. So the more you can help them on that technical education journey, the better. I think that's kind of my high level things. I would encourage everybody to continue to try, because what we're seeing is amazing touch points in these digital events. We're seeing people engage. We're seeing them learn. We're seeing them be motivated and inspired and make genuine connections. And so all of that is possible. Don't let taking this into a digital format prevent you from really considering and learning the best way to do it, so that you can continue to do all that good juicy stuff like connect and engage and educate and provide continuing education. And it's doable. I want to encourage all of you that it's doable. I know it's scary, but take the leap and live and learn around a lot of these things. Again, we had great successes, great challenges, and all of it were learnings. You know, our failures were learnings about what to do at the next one. And we are here, Proper Planning is super proud that we've been able to continue to bring our clients together and learn this new event tool. And we're here to help through Toolkit Tuesday, share what we've learned, and hopefully it will allow you to continue to, you know, progress on your journey as an event planner using digital event tools. Have a great week. And again, hope you'll join us next Tuesday for a little open Q&A around all the things that we've learned in the last couple of weeks. Thank you so much.